Hey guys, welcome to week 2 and the final week of trade period for season 2024. Proudly brought to you by Big Betting Australia. Don't forget to use the code BLUEABROAD at the checkout for 15% off with free shipping. And also, you do not need to have a minimum order spend. So, link is in the description. In this video, we're going to give the latest update on Dan Houston. I'll tell you what, he's a very good player. Do not get me wrong. But the amount that we have spoken about Dan Houston in this offseason is just batshit crazy. And there's so many moving parts. There's so many clubs that are seemingly interested. And then, you throw in the storyline around pick 13. And then now you throw in this other storyline around Carlton acquiring pick 14 and having 12 and 14. And then you've got North Melbourne who are still interested. What I want to do in this video is condense everything that's happened pretty much over the last 3 to 4 days since we last spoke about Dan Houston, put it all into one, and then come out with some sort of a picture as to where things are truly at. Now, based on what you're about to see, I don't think anyone knows. And that is exciting. It's exciting if you are into the trade period. And I know that a lot of you, you don't like hearing this news and, that the uncertainty. But at the end of the day, I'm just enjoying it. I'm embracing it. It's something to focus on for the next couple of weeks. And then before you know it, we're bored and we're looking for something. So let's take a look. I've got 4 different journos who I'm going to highlight and their position on this. And then I've got Kane Corns, who doesn't really have a position per se on where Houston is at, but he did bring up something interesting. So the first one is Damien Barrett saying he believes that Dan Houston will be at Carlton.
And Carlton's got its own decisions to make internally. There are strong people at that footy club who want to use 12 or 14 on the Dan Houston possibility. Equally, there's others who want to take both those picks into what they know to be a really, really strong draft. I still feel he will get to Carlton. That's my take on this.
He's going to get to Carlton?
I still feel he will get to Carlton.
How's he going to get there with the pick?
I think they might budge on the 14.
So you think Carlton will give... But that might not be enough for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, but it might be as well.
Yeah.
Or 12.
Yeah, okay.
Then we've got... This is one of the latest quotes. This is from Sam Edmund regarding where he thinks the Dan Houston situation is at. Now, he believes it has got so complicated, it is nowhere near a resolution, this one. He goes to Collingwood, North Melbourne, or stays at Port. That's his order of preference. North Melbourne's offer is the best for Port Adelaide and for Dan Houston in a monetary sense. So Sammy Edmonds seemingly has pulled out of the Carlton and Dan Houston race. So there's that. Then we've got Mark McGowan, who says, this is getting interesting. Port Adelaide's dual All-Australian defender, who is contracted for 4 more seasons, has not nominated a club, but wants to get back to Victoria. Collingwood and North Melbourne are trying to pursue assets to convince Houston to choose them, while Carlton have the picks to reach a deal with the Power, but seem content to use them at the draft. Then we've got Cal Toomey, who says, Dan Houston's options have narrowed to go to Collingwood, North Melbourne, or stay at Port Adelaide. So those are the 4 who have been talking about this for a while. And to be honest, those are the 4 or 3 of the 4 that I look at their quotes more than most. Then Kane Corns had something to chime in here, which I think just rounds out the conversation. And because a deal hasn't been done for Tom Barrass, it's a natural question to ask, which I thought I would throw to you guys as well. So Kane Corns says, Barrass feels like more of a need than Dan Houston does at Carlton. I'd be surprised if the Blues haven't been on the phone and offered pick 14 to try and steal Tom Barrass. So we've got 3 to 4 different opinions about where Dan Houston should go. Kane Corns raises a really interesting point, which I'm sure most of you have been talking about amongst your friends and your circles. And I've spoken to quite a few of you as well. Tom Barrass definitely is something that we would need. A lot of us have been talking about a key position player at a high level to pair with Jacob Wiedering. Now, Tom Barrass, he's got 3 to 6 years left in his career. I'm going to guess, best case scenario, 5-6 years. The window is now. What is a better match for Carlton? Dan Houston or Tom Barrass? That's my first question. And then secondly, I do wonder, and I mentioned this in the Jacob Wiedering video this morning, does the fact that Jacob Wiedering made the announcement now, before trade period ended officially. Does that mean we are content with where we are and we're going to go to the draft? I always had this thought that we were going to see if we got Dan Houston, make that official, then Jacob Wiedering would sign. But do you think that Jacob signing before Dan Houston being made official, if it was going to happen, gives us an indication that we're not going to get Houston? Let's chat about it and see where it's at. Right now, where it's at, it's up in the air. I don't think anyone knows. I think we are one tweet away from the narrative shifting, and that's exciting because it's unknown, and we're going to find out at the end of this week what happens. So stay tuned.